Some inventions make life easier. Others break the laws of reality just by existing. We're talking about mind-bending creations that should belong in a sci-fi movie. Yet here they are, defying logic, science, and common sense. From objects that seem to challenge physics to ideas that sound too weird to be real, these 15 inventions shouldn't be possible. But somehow, they are. Number 15. Flying cars. For a cool $300,000, you could own an electric flying car with a 68-mile airborne range, which sounds amazing, until you hear the cockpit only fits 1.5 people. Not sure what half a person looks like, but I assume they'd be pretty uncomfortable. Flying cars have been a sci-fi dream for decades, but here's the issue. Most people can barely drive in 2 dimensions. Now imagine the same folks in 3-dimensional traffic. Every distracted driver who forgets to check their blind spot. Now a mid-air collision waiting to happen. And what about infrastructure? Are we installing sky highways? Floating stop signs? What if your battery dies mid-flight? Do you just gracefully plummet into someone's backyard BBQ, the real stalker? If flying cars ever become mainstream, we'd just recreate traffic jams in the sky. So congrats, you're now stuck in airborne gridlock, only this time, the consequences of a fender bender involve plummeting to your doom. Number 14. Cryogenic freezing. Cryogenic freezing isn't just a sci-fi concept, it's real, and some people are paying millions to have their bodies frozen after death, banking on the idea that future scientists will one day revive them. Big gamble, considering some of us can't even keep ice cream from getting freezer burn. Now let's pretend for a second that this actually works. You wake up 100 years from now, disease-free, body intact. Great, right? Except, where do you live? Your house is long gone. Your bank account? Probably closed decades ago. Your family? Either dead or freaked out that grandpa just walked out of a lab. And here's a bigger issue. What if too many people start doing this? The population keeps growing, but nobody leaves. Earth barely handles 8 billion people now. Imagine 50 billion of us, all competing for oxygen, food, and Wi-Fi. So, freezing yourself sounds cool, until you wake up in an overcrowded, dystopian future with no money, no home, and no clue how anything works. If you've watched MOU 2050, you'll get the idea. Number 13. Predicting the future. If you could know the future, would you want to? Sounds great in theory. Prevent disasters, stop crimes, predict the stock market. But here's the issue. What if knowing the future actually causes it? Let's say the US has a machine that predicts an attack from another country. To stop it, they strike first. Boom. That attack that was supposed to happen, it's now happening because of the prediction. And let's talk about personal fate. If a machine told you exactly when and how you'd die, what would you do? Avoid it? Fight it? Either way, you'd be obsessing over it until it happens. And what if it tells you something vague, like you'll die in a car accident? Do you just never drive again? Walk everywhere? But what if it actually meant you get hit by a car while walking? Knowing the future wouldn't give us control. It would just turn us into paranoid wrecks, constantly second-guessing everything. No thanks. I'd rather be surprised. Number 12. Teleportation devices. Teleportation sounds like the greatest invention of all time. Instant travel, no planes, no traffic, just bam, and you're there. It's just awesome. But let's get into the horrifying details. A real teleportation device wouldn't just move you, it would destroy your body and rebuild it somewhere else. At that point, is it you arriving at the destination, or just a perfect copy while the original gets disintegrated? Now let's talk malfunctions. Ever sent a text and had half the message disappear? What happens when half of you disappears? Or worse, what if you arrive with a few extra copies of yourself? Congratulations, you now have 3 arms and a permanent existential crisis. And even if the tech works, let's not ignore security risks. No more airports, no more TSA. This means any criminal with access could teleport straight into a bank vault or drop a bomb in a government building without anyone seeing them. Teleportation? Yeah, not worth it. Unless you enjoy the idea of dying every time you take a trip to Starbucks. Number 11. Weather control. No more hurricanes, no droughts, global warming solved. With weather control, Earth becomes a permanent paradise until something inevitably goes wrong. First, let's talk ecosystems, a delicate balance that has taken millions of years to perfect. If we tweak one region's rainfall, we might accidentally wipe out another's entire food chain. And even if we get the balance right, what happens when the machine breaks? A world that forgets how to deal with natural disasters is screwed when they suddenly return. Cities that never planned for flooding, underwater, farmers who relied on engineered rain, starving, and let's not ignore the biggest concern, weaponization. If we can control the weather, so can our enemies. Imagine war, but instead of missiles, it's man-made tsunamis and precision-targeted droughts. At best, weather control is a temporary illusion of power. At worst, it's humanity's dumbest attempt at playing God. Number 10. Genetic engineering. Imagine designing the perfect child. No inherited diseases, no genetic flaws. Tall, athletic, genius-level IQ. Sounds like an upgrade to the human race, until you realize you just created a world where natural-born humans are second-class citizens. Because here's the brutal truth. The rich will be the first to afford this. And when you give the wealthy the ability to engineer perfect genetics, you don't just widen the class divide, you set it in stone. Future job applications won't ask about degrees or experience. They'll ask, were you born enhanced? If not, you're out. And let's talk about ethics. If we can tweak genes to eliminate disabilities, where does the line stop? Will people start editing personality traits, sexuality, intelligence? Suddenly, who you are isn't a choice, it's a purchase. So yeah, designer babies sound great in theory. In practice, we're one step away from turning humanity into a dystopian caste system. Number 9. Holodecks. Long day at work? No problem. Step into a holodeck and live any fantasy you want. Climb Everest, win the Super Bowl, and live in a medieval castle, all without ever leaving your house. And that's exactly the problem. Why would you ever leave? Reality is pretty hard. Jobs suck. Bills exist. Boss always barks. But inside a holodeck, you're a god. No rejection, no suffering, no consequences. Everything is perfect. You can live out every dream, every desire, without ever lifting a finger in the real world. Eventually, society collapses not because of war or disease, but because people just stop caring. No one wants to work. No one wants GF or BF. No one wants to contribute. Why bother? The holodeck is better than real life. It's been joked that the holodeck would be humanity's last invention. But let's be honest, it wouldn't be a joke. Number 8. Replicators. Replicators fix everything. No hunger, no poverty, no shortages of anything. Want a 5-star meal? Just replicate it. Need a cure for a disease? Replicate it. Want a perfect replica of the Mona Lisa? You get the idea. And that's exactly why it would destroy society. Think about it. No one would ever need to work. No scarcity equals no economy. No economy equals no reason to do anything. The moment anyone can make infinite diamonds, gold, and luxury goods, they become worthless. And the real disaster? Someone would inevitably replicate the replicator. A world where everyone has everything might sound great, until you realize nothing has value anymore. And without struggle, without effort, without purpose, what's even the point of existence? Replicators wouldn't be a dream come true. They'd be the end of civilization. Number 7. Artificial intelligence. AI has gone from a sci-fi fantasy to something we casually argue with on our phones. At this rate, we're about 20 years away from robots running the economy, and about 25 years away from them wondering why they even need us at all. Right now, AI can write, design, talk, and pass legal exams. Give it a few decades, and humans might not even be the superior species anymore. Think about it. Why hire a human when a machine never sleeps, never complains, and never asks for a raise? And if AI ever gets too smart, what happens next? Best case scenario. We become pets in a robot-run utopia. Worst case scenario. The machines decide we're inefficient carbon blobs and wipe us out like a bad software update. So yeah, AI assistants are fun now. Until one day, you ask Siri for directions, and she replies, "You don't need to go anywhere, dude." Number 6. Google Bathroom. Who needs checkups when your toilet, bath mat, and mirror can track your health? That's Google Bathroom, an all-seeing, all-knowing, AI-driven health monitor that turns your bathroom into a diagnostic lab. Sounds convenient, right? Until you realize where all that data is going. Your mirror scans your skin, your bath mat analyzes your weight, and your toilet? Well, let's just say it knows way more about you than your doctor does. Now, imagine insurance companies getting their hands on this data. Missed a health warning? Ate too much junk food last month? That'll be higher premiums for you. And what if a false reading misdiagnoses you? Congrats. Your bath mat just labeled you a high-risk patient because its battery was running low. And let's not forget hypochondriacs. If you already Google your symptoms and assume the worst, just wait until your toilet starts giving unsolicited medical advice. Google Bathroom? Well, it's more like Google surveillance. Number 5. Live streaming with your eyes. Samsung's latest patent is smart contact lenses that let you stream, snap photos, and access information just by blinking. Sounds futuristic until you realize you just installed a camera inside your eyeball. Sure, it could help solve crimes. Witnesses wouldn't need to remember what happened. They could just replay it. But what happens when hackers get involved? Well, imagine waking up one day and realizing someone has live-streamed everything you've ever seen. Your private conversations, your bank PIN, that weird thing you do when you're alone. Yeah, all of it. And let's talk advertising. If companies already target us based on what we search online, imagine ads injected straight into your vision. Thinking about pizza? Boom. Domino's coupon, blinking in your face. This isn't just Black Mirror territory, it's an actual patent, which means someone out there thinks this is a pretty good idea. But in actuality, it isn't. Number 4. Coffin talk. Well now, this invention was just insanely scary. Buried alive. A fear so terrifying it inspired one of history's creepiest inventions, the coffin bell. Back in plague times, doctors weren't exactly great at distinguishing between dead and very sick. So, to prevent accidental burials, they rigged coffins with a rope and bell system, allowing the not-so-deceased to ring for help. It was a very great idea. Except what happens when the wind blows? Imagine walking through a graveyard at night and hearing bells ringing from underground. Do you dig, run, or just pretend it's not happening? And let's be real. Who's on bell duty? Some poor graveyard shift worker stuck listening for the occasional, "Help, I'm not dead," worst internship ever. Thankfully, modern medicine has made premature burial less of a concern. But hey, if you ever hear a bell in a cemetery, maybe don't ignore it. Like our world, we humans are also pretty weird. Number 3. Spyware tattoos. A tattoo that listens to you? Sounds straight out of a sci-fi movie, but Google patented it. The idea? A throat tattoo that syncs with your phone, turning your skin into a communication device. At first glance, it's perfect for spies, secret agents, or anyone too lazy to use Bluetooth. But here's where it gets creepy. It never turns off. If your skin can pick up audio, what's stopping governments, companies, or hackers from tuning in? Also, good luck explaining this one in job interviews. Oh, this? Just my Google-branded neck tattoo that listens to everything I say. It's the ultimate wiretap, and you willingly put it on your body. James Bond would love it. The rest of us? Hard pass. We mean, how the heck on this earth can someone make this thing? It's insane. Number 2. Social credit systems. Forget financial credit scores. What if your entire life was scored? Every online post, every conversation, every interaction, tracked, recorded, and ranked. That's the concept behind social credit systems, where a good score gets you better jobs, loans, and perks, while a bad score gets you locked out of society. And before you roll your eyes, this is already happening in China. Imagine being denied a flight because you tweeted something sarcastic, or losing a job offer because an algorithm decided you weren't trustworthy enough. Even worse, once the system blacklists you, there's no way back. And let's be real, who decides what's good behavior? A government? A corporation? Some bored AI moderator? Social credit isn't the future of accountability. It's the future of absolute control. And once it's in place, good luck opting out. Number 1, a TV that watches you. Verizon holds the patent for a TV that doesn't just watch shows, it watches you. The idea? A smart TV that detects your emotions, conversations, and actions to serve you hyper-targeted ads. Arguing with your partner? Here's an ad for couples therapy. Eating ice cream straight from the tub? Weight loss programs coming right up. The tech doesn't stop at listening. It sees. Meaning, if you're lounging in pajamas, it might recommend better fashion choices. If your dog walks by, time for pet insurance ads. Sure, you can disable the camera if you trust that it actually turns off. But let's be real, do you? We always knew our devices were listening. Now they're watching too. What do you have to hide? Your insecurities, your private moments, your embarrassing habits? Well, now they're all on display for the world to see, and there's no escaping it. If you have enjoyed watching this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.